All right. I think we are live. I'm going to double, triple check that this is actually going public. And it's not. So I'm going to fix that.
Okay.
Can you go ahead and retweet and
Yep.
all
Just
of that?
did.
All right. Hey, guys. My name is Dr. Sharnael Wolverton-Sehon. I am with swiftfire.org, True TV. Very, very excited to have a very new friend, but an exciting, fun friend who happens to be a physician, and we're calling him Dr. Q. I met him through some other sources, actually from Jason Q. And I'm excited because we're going to have him on today, or he's here today. We're going to talk about his new book and kind of his story about how he got where he is. He's got a pretty amazing story. And I'm just going to encourage all of you guys, please go ahead and share, tag, go ahead and get this out to as many people as possible right away now. So wherever you are, you're sharing this and other people can watch it live. But thank you, Dr. Q, for being
Welcome.
with us today. Yes. So I have your, go ahead.
Yeah, so thanks for having me. It's awesome to be here with you.
Yeah, so I have your book, and Jason Q speaks very highly of you. He says to say hi.
All right. He's awesome.
He is, and of course it's 17 viewers right whenever you said that, but
yay!
I know your story because I've talked to you a few times now off camera, and it's pretty exciting what you've been through in the last few months. And just for the sake of everybody kind of catching up, please explain your story a little bit to everybody who's watching.
Yes, I will. Allow me just one bit of technical. Totally forgot to plug in my microphone.
Oh, that's fine. Make sure we can hear you.
Yeah.
While you're doing that, I'm going to make sure. Can everybody hear? Okay, let me turn the comments on too. There, that's better. I think we are kicking it here.
Make sure that this is on.
While he's doing that too, I want to remind everybody that at 3:30 I'm going to be
okay. Can you hear me okay?
Yes. Can you hear me? Can everybody hear? Okay, there we go. People can hear. I'm getting
sorry.
Yes. While he's getting that set up, I want to remind everybody I'm going to
I feel like Jason Q now.
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Okay, yeah.
Okay, good.
Okay, I think we're good.
Before we get oh, now it's echoing. There. At 3:30, I'm going to be on Prime Minister's show today, and also to remind you at 5 o'clock, Jason and I will be interviewing young Pharaoh at 5 p.m. Central, and then tomorrow, David Steele will be having Jason and I on his show, and then also Jason is going to be with Dr. Ward a couple times this week. And then we have our regular show Thursday night at 7. So I just want to remind everybody who's out there to mark your calendars or just come back if you can't watch it live. But I just want to make sure everybody knows that because people are constantly inboxing me saying, when is this and when is that and what's the thing and whatever. So tell us all about you.
Okay, so I'm a double boarded lung specialist actually, so I know a lot about what's going on currently. Had a very, very large abrupt awakening. It's been almost about 10 months now, surrounding the medical craziness that's occurring right now. I quickly realized, and I don't know why more people aren't waking up. None of this stuff makes medical, common, biological, high school biology sense right now. And, I was in a career, I think, like most physicians, where they're just drones. And, they're taught one thing. They're taught to take whatever the CDC says and the FDA says as a word from God. And, you're pounded in medical school to do that. And then guess what? You get released, fellowship, residency, working 80, 100 hours a week, you never get the chance to really think for yourself. And then you're placed in a job, and I'm just hearing horror stories all over the place where people say they go to doctors and they have 6 minutes to see them. Okay, so the reason you have 6 minutes is because they can see you for 6 minutes. It takes them 10 to 15 minutes to do the computer charting. Okay, so in this world that we have set up for healthcare providers, there's no room for thought. There's no room to learn anything new other than what's being fed to you by Big Pharma. And so reason I wrote this book was to explain a little bit of how we're trained, how I woke up to the idea. I mean, it's embarrassing. The idea that vaccines have inserts with very, very horrible things in the inserts. You know, we're never expected to read those. New ones come out. We're not given the inserts. We have to research. You'd have to research that on your own, and you're mandated by your employers to push them, or you get fired, or you get penalized. It's not so much that I don't believe it's not so much that physicians themselves or healthcare providers earn money, but I know the practice does, and I know the hospital systems do. And we are good worker drone bees. And thank God the one good thing about this pandemic is it put me in an office alone without any patients with things that didn't make sense. And so I woke up to the fact that there's another side, a darker side to medicine. And so I will not harm any patients. I will not harm children. I will not harm anyone. I won't harm myself. And so currently, you know, it's impossible to practice out there. You have to really, really be almost like a mom and pop shop to practice medicine that doesn't harm, because we're all mandated to give harmful vaccines.
Yeah, so for the sake of Facebook rules and all that, let's just say Maximes, and we'll just say the C. If we need to talk about stuff, we'll have to talk in code.
Good deal. I usually say injections. You're right. Injections, or the V word.
The V word. Let's do that.
V word. Okay. Yeah. And so that opened my eyes. As soon as I opened my eyes to the M word, so the use of the M and the injections and the propaganda and the political spin on all of this threw me for a loop. And I did a lot of research, and I wrote my book. I sat and wrote it. You know, it took me 6 months or so, and it outlines, it ties this entire movement in with medical awakening too. So if you want ammo, if you want knowledge, like I always tweet, you want knowledge to push back on the current system, to push back on lockdowns, to push back on wearing that face diaper with your employer. It's all in there. I have chapters. And then I also go Jason Q style too. I go into, what is adrenochrome? Is this a real substance here? Oh, let me look it up. Let me go scientific. I mean, these are not theories. That whole like C theory word, there's no more theories. And I wrote a big chapter. You know, we all conspire to live our lives certain ways. That's a normal thing for humans to do. If you don't think that your government's doing, you know, that's you're in the dark. So I wrote that book. It has a special chapter at the end dedicated to the person over your left shoulder. And I just personally think so. It also ends. Part of my journey is not just discovering all of the bad. It's been discovering all these incredible healing options that are out there that, as just a regular doc, I had no idea. And like I always tell people, one of my favorite sayings is that the hippies were right. You know, the hippies were right with natural medicines, with herbal medicines, with frequency healing, with light healing, with meditation, with all of this stuff is real, and it cures major illnesses, major. And so I personally believe because I always like to give a good positive spin on everything. And my book does exactly that. At the end, we talk about are there cures for cancer? I mean, it just takes a day. You just take 4 to 6 hours and do research. There's cures for cancer that have been out for decades. There's
Yeah, what happens to those people who come out with those great ideas, right?
Yeah.
They go missing most of the time.
Well, there's a really interesting story about a woman, a nurse in Canada. This was in the 40s, 50s, and she lived next to a tribe, an Indian tribe in Canada. And somehow they started talking about chronic illness and cancer, and they gave her the remedy. They gave her the herbal concoction.
Cassie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
SEACT.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And yeah, you're right. That's what happens. So what do? They first try to shut you up. She kept building it. Then they try to buy you out. She said no. And then they say, oh, well, we'll help. Let's study it together. Then they study it, and then they demonize it. And then finally they shut you down. When they realize it was real, then they shut her down.
And I don't know, I'm sure you know this, but for the sake of everybody else, there are huge organizations that get grants monthly for thousands, if not millions of dollars a month for research for the sake of finding those answers to the sea. And those grants stay in place as long as there isn't a cure for C.
Right.
And so that a lot of the research money goes to employees and people who are researching.
Right.
And so if there's a sudden cure, then no one's going to get paid anymore. And that would cause a little bit, I mean, on a karmic energy level, that would be great. But yeah, Royal Rife and lots of other people, we could start a whole list here: biofeedback and essential oils and hyperbaric chamber. And there's just so many different things, because the bottom line is dis-ease cannot live in oxygen. Mm-hmm. So if we can just amp up oxygen to all the levels possible and starve what's going on by not feeding it sugar, then we have a chance. So, but sugar will feed all disease. And guess what? When I have patients that I've been working with for years, and I've seen lots of great results, and they go to their doctor, and their doctor has them in, and they'll have like a surgery or a biopsy, which I would never recommend, because a biopsy a tumor will hold what you don't want in your body. It's there to protect you. But if you biopsy it, just that little pin, you can have 1 million C cells on the tip of a pin. And if you pop a hole in it, then it goes into the whole body, and now it's going to metastasize with other things. And then your body will have to try to protect each and everything that got let loose in your body. And you'll have multiple of the things that you were just biopsy, whatever that word.
Yeah.
So, do not do that. There's other ways to test. You can get a thermogram and see if there's something going on. There's so many different ways. And yet I'll have that happen, and then they'll go get a surgery, or they get something taken out, or whatever. And the first thing they want to feed them is pudding. And, it's like, oh my gosh, orange juice. I have people in the comments that I've helped. So,
and this is why I like coming on shows like this. And I'm here as a Western medicine trained, double boarded doctor. And I'm telling you, we're missing the ball. I'm telling you that people like you know what you're doing. People like me are missing the ball. And people are so programmed. And yes, there's a lot of money, there's a lot of science, and there's a lot of brilliance, but that doesn't mean it's good. This is
science. Who's doing these studies?
Yes. Yeah. And that's what you can't, someone who's a skeptic. Okay. Show me show me where the money, I mean, just you follow the money. This is all, I never used to want to believe that this is just a one big money-making scam. And the scam is very complex and it's subtle. So it's not like they don't cure some things or help with some things. That's where they get us. They help with some things, but they don't get to the root of the cause. And my big my big shift in the last almost year has been realizing that, oh my gosh, number one, there are actually cures to disease if you get to the root cause. And number two, we're not made to be dysfunctional genetic misfits. We're made beautifully, and we are supposed to be healthy, so that if you're unhealthy, that doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. That means there's something wrong with the environment, the environmental attack, the artificial sweeteners, the chemicals, the radiation, the everything. So you get out of your head that you're just this walking disease bucket. Oh, I'm just a genetic mix. It's not true. Because anything in this universe, if it came into our circles and we're exposed to the amount of injections and the amount of the fluoride and the artificial chemicals in all of your food or underneath your armpit with deodorants.
Yes, thank you. Good point.
That's my thing. It's like, no, you can't tell me that people are disease-ridden. You can't tell me that this country is just a bunch of disease-ridden, bad habits, blah, blah, blah. When you go and you follow one person who might even be relatively healthy, and you just have a laundry list of carcinogens that they've ingested during the day, and then we're surprised that we're getting cancer. I saw a show today. It was disgusting. I had to turn it off. I don't know why I had the TV on, but it was this supposedly heartwarming story about two sisters in the same household that got the same rare bone cancer. And these two poor girls, now they're like 16, 17, they were explaining it and they're like, yeah, well, everyone thought it must be genetic because we're sisters. Well, one of them was adopted. And so then they said, because they were smart, they're like, well, yeah, then we were saying, well, maybe it's environmental. They're like, but no, it's not environmental. It's not, it's just a 1 in a billion chance. That's why we're so special. People had convinced the beautiful little teenage girls that they were so unlucky that a 1 in a billion chance happened in this osteosarcoma or whatever they had in their leg was just chance. Of course it's not chance. Of course it was environmental. Are you kidding me?
98% of all disease is environmental, and 86% of the 96% is emotional. So we can deal with emotions. If you really study this, guys, it's a very small percent that has to do with DNA that's passed down. It's not a DNA issue. And by the way, even if it is, we can shift that. Epigenetics is real. And they'll tell you in medical school that you can't change it. You're just stuck with whatever grandma gave you. And that's not true. So that's another weird thing that I have heard that they teach. I don't know if they told you that, but
oh yeah, of course. Oh no, it is. It's like you're handed a platform of disease and you will get it. That's it. Period. End of story.
And then you got people like Angelina Jolie who go and remove her breast because her mom had breast cancer, or I'm sorry, she had the C. And the thing is, it's not about a breast. It's about it's a cellular DNA issue. So if you cut it off, then it'll just go somewhere else. So the point is to have a healthy diet, to have a low sugar diet, to exercise, get as much oxygen in the body as possible, breathe, do breathing, get out, get in nature, get enzymes in your body, vitamin C, vitamin D, keep the frequency up. Really, frequency is just one of the biggest major keys of all. Why do you think all this technology that's out is frequency centered, whether it's Royal Rife or biofeedback? I mean, I can remote scan someone long distance and it's accurate, and I can send frequencies remote to people, and it can help them for even if they're in Alaska or New Jersey or Australia. And I'm helping people nonstop just through high technology biofeedback.
Yeah.
But they don't talk to you guys about that, do they?
No. In fact, it's demonized. If you think that's not talked to, I mean, it's demonized even to use herbal medicine. It's absolutely not taught. Nutrition isn't taught. None of these things are taught. What's taught is disease, and then link it to a big pharma. That's all that's taught, period. And no doctor can refute that. I want to back up what you just say, and this is what is currently, I don't want to say stressing me out, but it is weighing on me a little bit, that I know what the population is going through. I kind of feel that anyway. And this fear porn, this all of the nuttiness that's happening with the elections, I get to speak with patients via, on the video daily, and all I hear is fear. And fear, they have medically proven, by the way, it makes sense, but I mean, fear kills your immune system. You want cancer to come, you want disease to come, live in a state of anxiety and fear. And we are now currently in a country, the amount of disease that's going to come from this fear campaign is probably going to be off the charts soon. And when I talk to someone on a video and I'm looking at a house, this happened today, and grandma's wearing a mask indoors, yelling at the little kids running around to put on her mask, indoors in the same household. And then she's complaining about headaches and feeling horrible. And then she's going to get a CAT scan to radiate her sinuses tomorrow because she's having headaches. This is the insanity. I talked to another guy who had a tumor growth that was growing by his spine. And because of this fear campaign from this yearly, natural, whatever pandemic you want to call it, he was put off. Yeah, pandemic. His hospital system said that they only had 3 qualifications: either acute, emergent, meaning you have a heart attack, you can get a surgery. Semi-urgent, which means their definition was you're not going to die in 3 days. And so he had a cancerous tumor, so he's not going to die in 3 days. So they put it off. It doubled in size. He ended up having double the amount of musculature removed, ribs removed. And this is because this is what I put back on the big C, the 3-letter institutions. You need to explain this. You need to explain to the public that I want to hear, you think that what you have done to us for the last 10 months has been more beneficial than the side effects of it, the adverse effects, that the amount of people that have not gotten procedures done or medicine that they needed to have done, the amount of people that have not been exercising. My dad tells even the YMCAs and the gyms and everything that are open, nobody goes because they're so scared. The amount of disease we have created in the last 10 months is disgusting, and it's malpractice.
It is. It's criminal.
It's criminal. And people need to, so this is a hard thing. Europe's going through a different thing, but this is where the United States we need to get this election crap taken care of, because that's not the only battle. People are, think, oh, well, if we could just get the courts, and we got a big battle. You realize we need to get to a point where all of this is exposed, where they come and say on your propaganda set, not only were we wrong, we killed millions of people during this. That's where we need to get. We need to get to the point where the people that are in these 3-letter organizations are in jail. And that's the next fight. People don't realize, and I'm telling people, that's why I push my book, and that's why I'm speaking out, and also why I keep my page kind of apolitical. The politics are going to work its way out. We're not even in control of that, whether we go in March or not. Same thing's going to happen. What we are in control of is exposing this other stuff, because it's not going to come out unless there should be 1 million people outside the 3-letter organization in Atlanta pounding the doors down, asking for why the 3-letter directors said that the face diapers were not to be used multiple times, and now they're telling everyone to wear them even in their house. I need an explanation scientifically. You want to play science? Okay, I need that explanation.
Well, and I just said, and I've been saying, and that's why, I mean, I got censored. I've been put in Facebook jail, whatever. But that takes away oxygen. And the whole point is to get oxygen. So why would you take away oxygen for the thing that you need more oxygen for? It's just kind of, and going back to, I want to piggyback on a couple things you said. You were talking about how you guys weren't taught to go to the root issue. And Dr. David Stewart is a quantum physicist, but he started out and he's got like 3 PhDs, actually. He's my mentor. He just passed away last year or this year. And he told me a lot of what he had in medical school that he dropped out because they weren't going to the root. And he's got a PhD, and he has an ND, an MD, quantum physics thing, something in like, I don't know, he's got several. But my analogy for listening to some of his stories were, if you have a car and the oil light goes off and it's beeping at you and it's annoying, then, if you take it in and someone would say, hey, I have this great idea. Let's just undo this. We're going to pull this light so it won't beep anymore. You won't hear a sound and the light won't blink at you and you're just going to be good. It's like, then you get on the road and what happens? The car is going to explode eventually because you're not getting to the root. And so all of these, medicines, which the word pharmacy or pharmakia is actually witchcraft. And that's where pharma even comes from. And it's like you said, it's opposite land where the hippies were right, whatever.
Yeah.
You don't have to be a hippie to actually know that stuff works.
Yeah.
And it's the pharmakia, that's the hokey pokey witchcraft stuff, literally by real words. But when we use things that are not synthetic, your body takes them in, like the blood of a plant, for example, or oxygen or a supplement or good nutrients or enzymes or different things that you can actually take into your body that are natural. Your body takes it in easily because it sees it as family.
Yeah. Right.
But when something synthetic enters the body, your body immediately goes to war to reject it and to decode it and to set up like walls and try to detox it out, glutathione and all the things try to have to kick in to like move it out. And it's literally creates a war in your body, so why not use something that's natural that your body looks at and goes, oh, hey, come on over and help me out a little bit,
Yeah. People need to get, and this is where sometimes I have to boil it down. If you're just on the edge or you're waking up or you're in the gray area, do you trust billion-dollar corporations? Yes or no? Okay, the answer is no for most people. These are the people. If you think they have your well-being, this is all a money game. And the 3-letter organizations makes tons, billions and billions of dollars off of the V word. And that's where I woke up. I'm like, wow, this is really a money game. And then they brainwash, convince, whatever you want to call it, maybe healthcare providers that have a good heart. And it's so easy to get into this mindset of just prescribing. And I agree with you. I've read too, it makes sense. We've lived on this earth for millions of years and then suddenly in the last 100 years, you're going to tell me oil-based or chemical-based products is the way to go. We've been duped. We have been completely duped, and it needs to stop because, and when it stops and when people really push back, better than me, there's this incredible world of natural medicine out there. It's mind blowing honestly to someone like me who's never studied it. It's mind blowing all the good stuff that's out there.
It is, and it's really, there's so many different ways that you can go. There's so many different options, and what I love about naturopaths, there's very few schools where you can go to school for naturopathy now. They've shut down a lot of the schools, which is sad. And then there is one, I think it's in Oregon or Washington, where you have the option to actually study pharmakia as well, so you know the side effects. But I didn't go that route because I honestly didn't want to spend a lot of time learning about a lot of drugs that are going to change anyway, because that's another thing that has to happen, because your body decodes. So once you get on something, your body will eventually be immune to it, because it doesn't like that synthetic thing so much that it will eventually not even work anymore, because your body decodes it. And that's the thing about
what a perfect scam.
They got to put you on a new one. They got to try you on this one. They got to put you on this one. Now this one, let's just, and then this one will have side effects, and that one has side effects. So you got to get on something else. I mean, my wake up was because I was about 80 pounds overweight and very, very sick, and had been, I was on up to 30 medicines, medications per day. And I couldn't even tell you what this one was for, that one. Most of them were because of the side effects. It started out with one thing and then it just grew. And I had like a suitcase of crap to take daily, and the mental gymnastics of this with that, and not with water, and this with food, and these can't go together, and this has to be with milk, and this is on an empty stomach and that's not. And, you know, it was just a lot. And I didn't even feel any better. Like, I honestly
No. And they, just to, so people understand this, if you're on 5 medicines, if you're on 3 medicines, I'm telling you, from a Western doc perspective, they have not studied the interactions of those 3 medicines over time, period. There's no studies like that. They might say there's interactions, or they figured out some interactions and you can plug it into a computer. None of that stuff has been studied over time. And every individual is different. So that's another thing. It's not like we're all the same. So we're all different. None of them have been studied together, and none of them have been studied long-term. It's insane. And
they're usually tested on very healthy, like 18 to 25-year-olds.
Right. Just like the new injection coming out. All of these people are perfectly healthy individuals, just to get that out there. The 2 studies that I know of were all done. They're all done on perfectly healthy individuals. And then they're going to jump from that. This is why I think they might be trolling us. I'm hoping that Trump has control of all this. They're saying, oh, let's study this on perfectly healthy human individuals. But then in the next breath saying, and then in 24 hours, we're going to get it to elderly and vulnerable populations, which means people that are sick. Are you kidding me? We're gonna, and not only that, how about we give you a V word that injects RNA into you, okay, genetic information into you, has your cells incorporate it into your own DNA permanently, by the way, permanently, and then have your body make vaccines. And that was, Gates loved that. Your body can be a vaccine producing machine. They told us this. I mean, it's so out there. It is so bizarre. Your DNA will be changed. You'll be a different person. And I just love Dell. I'm forgetting his last name, Dell, that does a lot of explanations on all of this, and put up a graph, and all of the highlights and the headlines right now about this 90%, 95% effectiveness is taken from 0.2% of the study group. 40,000 people studied. They're telling us about 100 healthy people. And I don't even know how they figure out whether it worked or not. They haven't had enough time to figure out whether, so they took these 100 people and they're like, well, 90 of them are fine. 10 of them got sick, so it's 90% effective. It's just from a laboratory experimental mindset, drone mindset, it's laughable, the numbers. So I don't believe it's going to come out. That's my prediction. So I want people to not worry. It can't.
The other thing is, I was talking to my husband, actually pointing this out, because I'm sorry I'm getting distracted because I have another interview with Prime, and I guess we got it mixed up with the time zone. So he thinks that I'm on right now, but it's an hour from. So sorry. But I'm listening to what you're saying, and I can multitask as a woman, and we're good.
Yes.
So, I got that woman brain going on. But you mentioned the percentages and the whole thing with the V. And one thing that my husband and I were talking about is he brought up the fact that we have a 99.9% chance to survive the C. And yet it was funny because, not funny, but sad that last week a certain medical company came out and said that they were going to have a V that had a 90% survival rate. So that seemed really cool, right? And then the next day, another pharmaceutical company came out and said, well, they were going to have a 94.5% survival rate with their V.
Yeah.
And so within hours, the first one came back and go, oh, no, never mind. We just checked and it's actually 94.5%, which how do they even know survival rates anyway? Because it's not been tested, like you said. But my husband made a point to remind me. So basically, if we take any of the Vs, then we have a 4.5% chance of dying or a 3.5% chance of, depending on which one, or we just do nothing, absolutely nothing, and we have a better survival rate. So they're basically saying they're telling us, which they have to. They got to tell us what they're doing.
Yeah.
And they're telling us we're going to kill 5% of you, basically, and people just suck it up. Now, talk about the commercials too, because commercials are interesting. You know, when you're half in your sleep state, and I get the whole fear thing because all TV and, well, not all TV, I won't say all TV, but any fear-based TV is set to beta waves, which is straight to the adrenals, fight or flight, keep everybody pumping that fear stuff, keeping the immune system down, and you're more programmable during beta. So what's in between every news station commercial?
Yeah.
It's all about the witchcraft and constant witchcraft, and every one of them is programmable. It'll say, you have so-and-so. Now that you have so-and-so, what are you going to do, or whatever? And like the wording that they choose is to program you into believing that you have those things.
Yeah.
And then they list the stuff, and then at the end they're like, also this may cause da 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 da. And usually it's like the thing that you're using it for also will give you the cause of the thing you're using it for.
Right.
Right.
Or death. And they always put that at the end, or death, may cause death. And I agree.
Yeah.
So, and this is stuff where people, need to wake up to the TV and our devices and all that. That's part of my research. This stuff is all out there. You can Google patents from the 50s and 60s. This isn't a theory. This isn't crazy talk. There's patents in the 50s and 60s on TV. The patent was what kind of frequencies and radio waves and TV frequencies, how can it affect your central nervous system? These are government patents. It's on Google. You can search Google. So it was in the 50s and 60s. In the year 2000, I found a patent where it was for your cell phone, and it was a patent for your cell phone to detect your EEGs, your electric brain waves in your brain, and to download the information onto their cloud computer, supercomputer. Okay, and that was in the year 2000. That was 20 years ago. Real patent.
Oh yeah,
So
there's
now,
a lot. If you go,
then you think about this though. What if you reverse that? So they know if they can detect it. What if? And this is why people need to be real careful about sleeping next to their phones or next to their Wi-Fi and all that. If you don't think that they can program sound waves, frequencies to change your thinking. So if you're frustrated, angry, anxious all day, you need to be aware of the amount of screen time that you're getting, because that screen time is programming you.
Yep.
And that's not my supposition. That's what I've read. And like you said, they tell us.
Yep.
It's the interesting part of, I touch on that in my book too. There is this You don't have to believe in numerology or witchcraft. I don't care if you do. I know they do, because it's so obvious the amount of numerology they use to that throw at us. And so they're using it. That's why we need to figure out. You need to open your eyes and believe it. The V word patent with the biochip really was 60606.
Yep.
It's a level that's, it's scary at first, but knowledge is power.
Yes.
And I believe if you know it, you can recognize it and negate it. And you can do something about it. And that's the positive part about what I talk about in the book, what I talk about daily, is that are we in the hole? Yes. But there's ways to get out of the hole.
Yes.
Yes,
I agree with you. Knowledge is power. And, for everybody who's watching, this guy has went through a huge transformation. I mean, when I first started talking to him, I'm talking about Dr. Q here, I was blown away by how fast he literally left his job over this. He changed his entire life based on this information. You want to talk about courage? For me, it was like, it wasn't just reading and finding out. He literally started speaking out about it and going forward and being a digital warrior and, writing a whole book on and what he knew. He is not just like, oh, I got the information and good luck, you guys. I hope you get it too. He is on the front lines here. So I do hope that you will get this. I do hope that you will find him on Twitter and see what he's posting, and really connect with him, because this is important, and you will learn a lot from what this guy has in here. I mean, it's some really great information. And also, the name of the book is, you can get on Amazon, Eyes Wide Open. Someone's asking me what's the name of the book.
Yeah,
and I will put
Eyes Wide Open on Amazon. And I'm sorry, listen, we're getting reverb. But the minute I can sell enough to get off that platform, I promise I will. It just happens to be the easiest platform for someone who's a new author. I agree. I don't like feeding Bezos, but when I get to that point where I can sell it independently, I will.
Yes.
And I'm Dig Warrior for Kids, DIG Warrior, the number 4 kids on Twitter.
Yes.
Come join.
What I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to post his book link in here. I'm also going to post where you can find him on Twitter and in all the ways that you can connect with him too. And I understand the thing about Amazon. My books are on there too. What are you going to do? But I just want to thank you. We went a little bit over, but I appreciate your time and hanging out with us a little bit. I hope you guys will share this and retweet or repost or tag people, because I really do believe this is information that's really important. If you feel helpless and you feel like there isn't anything you can do, please don't feel that way. You can do something about it. You can keep sharing. You can keep talking. You can keep hoping and praying, and you can research and do your due diligence and get yourself educated and trained and a lot of these things, because we don't know when stuff will be even off the internet. So this is the time to really get out there and share. Also, please, I'm going to plug my book too.
Can I say one thing real quick?
Yes, absolutely.
That it says author of Eyes Wide Shut on the bottom. Yeah, it's the opposite.
Oh, I'll fix
it's
that.
Eyes Wide Open. Eyes Wide Open.
Thank you for bringing that to my attention. I'm sorry.
That's
that's
okay.
a movie. Isn't that a movie?
That's a horrible
Eyes
movie.
Wide Open, not Eyes Wide Shut.
Yes.
Or no.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yes, and
yes, your books. Show me your books.
Yeah, so this is on Amazon too. It's also at swiftfire.org, and this goes into a lot of modalities to actually change the DNA, change the programming, to make sure that we are putting the right programming in, and how to do that, and how to do it instantaneously. as we talked about sugar being an issue, keto reset talks about, ways that we can live a healthy lifestyle. We don't have to live in a sugar life. And there's a lot of people who've been doing it for years, and it's been fine. I've been keto since 2014. I have my days where I'm not. I have my weeks where I'm not. But then I get back and I remember, because it's still the best way to go. But
and we don't have to live in acidosis. Take your masks off, take the diapers off. So it's not just about, I needed to plug this one thing because it's really in my heart. It's not just about oxygen. It's about rebreathing your CO2, which puts you in a state of acidosis immediately, within minutes. So if you have to, and we can't all avoid it, we can't all just quit our jobs, we still send our kids, just try to get the thinnest one possible. Try to put it down below your nose. Try to take eating breaks, so because they let you eat. Try.
Yeah, it's
and exercise.
Yes, get out and move your body. Breathe the air. Just do what you can to get out and exercise and move circulation. That's really important too. So thank you for bringing up exercise. Yes. So I hope we can have you back again.
Yeah, sounds good.
Definitely will be. I'll send you the link to this, and you guys, go to swiftfire.org too, please, and get on my newsletter. Just because, for censorship reasons, if for some reason this doesn't last very long on Facebook, then I will be able to point you to where you can get a copy. I'm going to be on YouTube in a little bit, and I'm going to put it on BitChute as well. So we'll be in multiple places. And eventually I'm getting all my videos on at swiftfire.org. But get on the newsletter, guys, just because we know a lot of people who have been deplatformed, and that's not fun. I want to be able to find you guys. But swiftfire.org. And also you can find me if you're choosing to understand a little bit more about frequency with crystals or oils or remote scans. We can do all that. That's at my website, swiftfire.org. I love helping people. I got a lot of classes online and stuff like that too, Ricky. Just get informed. Let's learn and let's change the world. All right, guys?
Yeah.
Talk to you soon.
All right.
Thank you so much, Dr. Q. And we will be in touch. And I'm going to change that on the banner.
All right, cool.
All right. Thank you. All right.
Thank you. All righty. Bye. Thank you.